ballet kind of became, instead of being artistry, it became stuntistry.
I think it's really tricky or hard right now to define what dance is.
It's expression, but within a frame. I always stress on the importance of formal training if you want to be a professional dancer. But I mean, commercial dancing is very good because there's a lot of money in it. I prefer the theater because there's more art to it. And
if you put out an hour-long word, no one will show up.
Yeah, you lose them.
And
You can only give.
It's very hard. It's very hard like that. Okay, so here we go. So this series is about different people coming together who are in performing arts or therapeutic arts, and I just want the series to be talks with different people that I've met so far and have really connected. And you are one of the people that I really connected, and instantly, like the first day we met itself, we spoke a lot about these things. And so I'm really glad to have here Celeste. Let us start by introducing ourselves. So we go first. You can introduce yourself.
Hi. So first of all, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever in the world you are. I am actually at the moment in Pokhara, Nepal, and my name is Celeste. I am originally from South Africa, but I live permanently in Malaysia now. But currently I am traveling the world, so my home is wherever I lay my head.
Yes. And I'm Maithily. I am based in Pune right now. I'm a yoga teacher and I was a dancer for quite a long, so we kind of connected on that and had a really interesting conversation. So I just wanted to ask a few questions about your journey as a dancer. So if you can tell us where it all started and your experience basically.
Okay, yes. So I used to be a dancer. I started off as a classical ballet dancer, but then I went into contemporary dance, jazz dance, modern dance, well, whatever kind of dancing, because as a dancer, when you work with a choreographer, you have to just take on whatever genre the choreographer is choreographing in. So I started at the age of 2 because my mother and father both were dancers, not professional, but they loved dancing, social dance. And my sister was a ballet dancer. She's 9 years older than me. And one day there was no babysitter at home. And she took me with her to class. I was only 2. And apparently, because I don't remember, I just started dancing. So I've always danced. I don't remember like when some people can remember the first day in class. I don't have that because as far as I'm concerned, I've always been able to dance. Like when you walk, as far as you are concerned, you've always walked. Your parents will tell a different story.
So the dance came naturally to you and you didn't have to start it by some class, but as we all have it in us, the instinct of dance, let's say, that's how it started for you. And so how long has this journey been for you? Like, how long have you been? And what all places, let's say, I remember you telling me where you used to travel with dancing, with your team, you travel and perform to places. So can you tell us more about that? Like as a professional artist on the stage, how was that for you?
Okay, yeah. So although I started like in a very organic way, I then went into formal training because it's not TikTok dancing or YouTube dancing. You have to go for class. So I spent from the age of my first examination. I started late with exams because long story, apartheid in South Africa. So non-whites were not allowed to take ballet exams. But I was still being formally trained from the age, let's say from the age of 4, but I was not doing exams. My first exam I did do so I was first Chiquetti ballet trained, no formal exams, but I went to through all the classes, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. My first formal exam was pre-elementary Royal Academy of Dance syllabus. And I went all the way up to solo silk, which is like a master's degree in ballet. And then I got into, while I was doing that, I was in the Johannesburg Youth Ballet Company, represented South Africa in the youth festivals that were held in like Israel, in Europe. Again, because of apartheid sanctions, certain countries we couldn't go to, but I used to go overseas, traveled a lot with the company. And then when I was at university, I went to the University of Cape Town. I was in their ballet school studying ballet, teaching as a teacher. But I was also in the youth company. And of course, with that youth company, I traveled nationally. Then I got into the actual ballet company, which was called Cape Ballet Company. And I stayed with that company. And that time South Africans were not allowed to travel overseas. It's only when I stopped dancing ballet, I went into commercial dance, as it's called. That's when I started being able to travel. So I would go wherever. I used to go to wherever it was allowed. Taiwan, Hong Kong, Indonesia. Where else did we go? During that time. But then afterwards, I went to the US. I went to Europe. As time went by. And then I expanded into, like I say, a contemporary, modern. Some movements also that has no name, but it's dancing.
Yes, I see. Very, very interesting, because I think many few people these days will get a chance to actually go to different places and perform their work, and really completely be into that, like full dedication. So it's very rare. So I was really excited to hear your journey, and I just wanted to know, like, what were the themes of these dances, or were you traveling to give a social message, or was it performance, or was it sequential work, or what type of work were you presenting? What
Okay, yeah.
was it, your own choreography, or yeah?
Okay, it was different depending on the stages of my life, because I'm very old already. So like when I was just a dancer, I had to follow the company wherever we went. And then of course I was performing what they choreographed or their kind of works. But when I had my own company, because I'm also a choreographer, director, and producer, then I produce my own kind of work, and I take my work to different places. And although I prefer to do long length works, and I prefer theater work. I don't really like, not really don't like. Commercial dancing is very good because there's a lot of money in it. But when it comes to my passion, I prefer the theater because there's more art to it. And I don't know, it just has a different feel to it.
Yeah, I see. And like being so passionate towards dance, which is which takes you everywhere, like you said, and it was a big part of your life. So how would you say that it affected you as a person, like as a person who is growing up with dance, or physically, mentally, spiritually? How did it affect you really, or what impact it made on you?
Okay, so physically it affected me. It made me very self-aware of my body, but in a positive way, because it made me eat properly, take care of my body, because my body is my tool. And then it also gave me a sense of what is the word? Self-worth. And value. My body was very valuable, so I was not just dishing it out freely like to any Dick, Tom, and Harry. So to come into my space, it was very. It was kind of like an honor. It's so valuable to me. And then again, when you're a professional dancer, your body's actually insured because it's your tool, so it has to get insured. So if you get hurt, you get compensated. And it also made me very physically, mentally, I was very confident. Dance made me very confident because with dance, I was able to be expressive. So maybe I cannot express myself verbally, but visually I could. And because of this, I was very confident. I never had issues with, I don't like my body. Other people had issues with my body. Oh, you're too short, or your turnout is not at 180 degrees. Your hip flexors are not flexible enough. They had issue with my body. Your feet, your insteps are not high enough. Your arches are not high enough. It didn't bother me. I was confident within my body.
Yeah.
Like mentally, I said it made me confident as a human being, just as a woman. I was very confident. I know how to carry myself. And spiritually, I think it's very humbling. It made me humble because, I know that the talent I have is God given. It's not something that you cannot inherit talent. And so every time I danced and people loved what I did and came and told me that they did and were like, wow, I was very humbled because I know it's not me. That movement or that being that you saw going around, moving around on stage made you feel good. It's not that talent comes from somewhere else. I'm just the medium, that it flows through me. Yeah. So that's how.
Yeah. I see. A very good point you made about the physically, how it made you feel. Like you just naturally take care of your body more, of your mental health also more, because and I feel like from a yoga perspective also, I would say that treating your body as if they'll say that your body is the temple. So treating it as a place of God or a tool that takes you close towards your spiritual self also is very, very important. And that's where the self love or the self care or the self esteem also comes from, right? And I feel like dancing or any performing arts actually allows you to see yourself in that zone, let's say, that active meditation state. Let's say when you're dancing, you have to be completely self aware, you have to be completely focused on the movements of your body, the things that going in your mind. Just slow down for a while, no other thoughts will tend to come up while you are performing. So I think it's and since you are a person who has been doing it for such a long time, I can I can feel that it also allows you to grow spiritually consistently. And yeah, so it's a very important thing to have, I feel like. And if I may just ask, how would you say that dance has changed over the years? Like as a young 2-year-old, from where you are after choreographing, after producing, and after going through all the journey, how will you say the dance has changed?
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, because I've danced so many genres, I'm going to focus, let's say, mainly on ballet and on commercial dance. Ballet has not changed that much. I mean, at one point, I remember between 2010, when I was like in New York, between 2010 to maybe 2014, there was this thing going around where ballet kind of became, instead of being artistry, it became stuntistry, where it was just stunts. It's like as long as the leg is high, the form, they didn't care about the form. So the hip was out, the alignment was wrong. It's just wrong. But just because the wow factor was there, the leg is very high. Or 16,000 pirouettes, that's the turns. And just wow. But when you're looking at it, the person who's doing it, they're not following the music, the leg is turned in, the arms are not in the right position, so it became just about the stunts. And then they were doing movements that are not in ballet, but within the context of ballet, which is wrong. It's like speaking English with putting in some other language as well, mixing up the languages. And then, like when I say stuntistry, it's like speaking English, but then you have slang. No, ballet is the grammar it has to be, there's only one grammar and it has to be correct. So for a time there was that, but I think after 2014, it somehow went back to what it should be. Of course, in dance competitions, they still do all this, but when you look at it in a theater perspective, they stick to the actual technique and within the frame of ballet. When it comes to the other types of dancing, oh my goodness, because now anybody can be a dancer. As long as you can put something on TikTok and you look good, or on YouTube, you say you're a dancer. I've seen people who are aerobics teachers that are saying they are dance teachers and dance choreographers, but they have no qualifications, no dance background, or if they have, it's not sufficient. So yeah, and again, now the way dance has changed is people want to just see the wow factor. They do not appreciate the actual movement. And one last thing, I know it's meant a lot. I can actually go on the whole day about this, but just one last thing, which I think is very important to mention. And I'm going to have to move because, I'm a dancer. My expression is visual. A lot of the choreography these days, especially when it comes to like hip hop, the street dance, it's not even dancing. It's just positions. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just like, and I'm dancing. No, you're not. You just pose here, put, it's not, there's no lyricism. It doesn't connect. So that's why I can take a group of office workers who have a little bit of, and I can teach them an entire dance routine and they can look good because I'm just putting movement, and then we put it together in a sequence. But if they're not dancing, that's not dancing. You know what I mean? Because all the intricate steps in between, it's not there. So this is how it has changed.
Yeah, I think it's a very good perspective, and the counter. The first thing that came to my mind is how like the counter argument might be for it that it's a freedom of expression and anyone can do it, and if from ballet, let's say how contemporary came out and kind of dissolved and became more abstract in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
So this concept of being abstract and still making sense subjectively to yourself or to some people in different ways, and all these, I feel like this perspective allows people to let's say whatever they are doing is to be called dance. Right? So I think it's really tricky or hard right now to define what dance is what you are also saying,
No,
right?
I can still define it. It's expression, but within a frame.
Oh, yeah.
There must always be a frame. You cannot simply, even like contemporary, it's still within a frame. There are people who go out of the frame, but then that is already not dance. You have to, there has to be yes, it's freedom of expression, but even expression has to be contained within that frame. Yeah. So
but then how do we decide this frame, like, or who gets to decide? Because over the time that frame also has been changing, right? So
in contemporary, it would depend on who is, well, I don't know if they have contemporary classes, but let's say in choreography or in your style. Now, let's say you are Martha Graham. Martha Graham has her frame. So you have to work within her frame. You can't be saying, I'm doing Martha Graham, but then you put the Bob Fosse movement in the middle of, because that is not, you have to, so with contemporary, if jazz dance is the same, although jazz does have a specific kind of movements, but still the style of jazz will change with each choreographer. Like I can have 10 people doing my work. They'll be doing my movement, but each one will have something different because that's something I cannot control, because that's how they feel the movement. I feel it like this, although they're doing what I said, but that one might have a little bit more rasa. That one might have bring the energy inward. The next one might take the energy out. But when you look like a perfect example would be Michael Jackson. If you look at him, all his dances, they're all doing the same movement, but he somehow just looks different. Because his interpretation of that movement is just a little bit different from, and if you look at each individual behind him differently, individually, you'll see they're doing the same thing, but it's different. The Thai people will say same, but different.
I see. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. And like so you're saying unless we have that frame decided for ourselves, or like if I'm a choreographer, I have to be in my frame, is what I say.
Yeah, otherwise what are you doing? Otherwise, your work is
Yeah.
confusing. People look at it and they're like, what is
Otherwise, I
this?
can. Yeah. Otherwise, I can call anything I do on stage
Yeah.
as a dance.
You can throw a tantrum. You can throw a tantrum and put music to it, and then you can call that dance.
And it. Yeah. I understand now. Okay. And so, coming back to the mental, physical, spiritual aspect, I would like to know how, um, I- like they say that dance or any type of movement that you do is therapeutic in nature.
Mhm.
So, what is your take on it? Like, have you experienced? Like, would you say that a certain type of movements is therapeutic, or any type of dance, let's say, or any type of, what will the
Yeah.
be structure for that?
Yeah. Okay. I would say it is therapeutic. That's why people go to the disco,
Yeah.
because you can see when people are in a disco, they just, well, not everybody, but there are those, the majority. That's why they love
Yeah.
going. I'm one of those people because I'm very uptight and I don't really drink. I don't do, I do not put myself into a different state of mind. But when I'm in
Yeah.
a disco, because that music, the only place where you can hear music at its best, I feel, is in a disco, in a club, because they have the good acoustics. And
Mm.
I just let them, and because I'm a professional dancer, so my move, I'm very disciplined. So it's the only time when I can just move without having to think about technique or. So that is why, in my case, that is therapeutic. But also when I do a ballet class, only ballet class, I've done many other type of only ballet class. For me personally, I feel is very therapeutic because it's that it's the challenge of of moving your body in that specific frame of
Mm.
the ballet that I feel is therapeutic to me, because I'm also a kind of person, although I'm uptight, but when I let loose, I let loose. So when
Yeah.
I do ballet, it gives me that it's therapeutic because there's it's uptight, but it also has freedom.
Mm.
So it's a perfect balance. But for each person, it's
Balance.
different. Maybe for you, it would be different, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what do you find therapeutic in dance?
For me, like some type of music really works for me, which is more calming or more flowy. And always I end up doing flowy movements. Like even if I go to a club to dance, I'll end up doing flowy movements. I
Yeah.
cannot break, you
So
know.
you let the music wash over you like that.
Yeah.
You don't let it attack you. You just let it wash.
Yeah. And I feel like dancers have this talent of, that they can dance anywhere without drinking or without having anything.
Yes.
If you just ask us to stand on a table and just dance, we'll do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. Anything. Yeah. I mean, I've danced. I've been at in Singapore at the MRT station, and
Yeah.
I just broke out into a dance. And I mean, it's not allowed. I got fined.
Yeah.
But
But yeah.
I don't know. The train was taking too long.
Yeah.
I just felt it just calmed me to start moving around and
Yeah.
walking all
Hmm.
across the floor, and the people loved.
Yeah. And
People enjoyed it. The police didn't enjoy it that much, but
yeah, they have their different set of movements that they do. For police, it's yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I mean, it was like a coping mechanism for me for a long time. As a teenager, let's say, whatever I'll go through, if I'm insecure about my body, I'll dance it out. If I'm, stressed, or how kids naturally start moving their body when they're upset or when they are unhappy, or when, as a kid also, we start moving our body, we start shaking it off, and we
Yeah,
start
that's why they throw
doing those
tantrums.
movements. And
That's why children throw
yeah,
tantrums, because it's a way of
yeah,
releasing the tension.
releasing that, yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, dance was that for a long time, but then I couldn't find a certain framework for that, because my movements will be depending on my mood swings, and my movements will be depending on a certain song or something
Mm.
like that. So it was hard for me to start with contemporary and then find a framework into that. Maybe if I had gone through traditional discipline,
Yes.
uh, it would have been a little easier. And then when I found yoga, I structure, and yet it has the therapeutic aspect to the movements, and it is also like a dance for me.
Yes.
But my type of dance, like more flowy, more slow,
Yoga,
and
but yoga
more
is a dance because it's movement. It's
yeah,
a dance.
yeah,
It's movement, and then
yeah.
when you do yoga in a way where that's like flow.
Mm,
When you flow yoga, when you do like
yeah,
flow yoga, because flow is rhythm.
yeah,
Rhythm is
yeah,
is dancing.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's why a lot
So,
of dancers really enjoy yoga, not because of so much because of the postures, but just that
but
feeling
because of
of
the
connecting one movement into
mm,
the next movement, flowing from one movement into the
yeah,
next.
yeah, and it just brings out so much body awareness, and the breath work also gets combined with it, and it's just, yeah, everyone should experience that.
And I
I
find
feel
with
like.
yoga, for me, because as a dancer, especially ballet,
Hmm.
jazz probably a little bit, but especially ballet, because all the movement comes from effort, from
Yeah.
force. And then in yoga, I remember when I started yoga, it was very hard because nothing is forced. It has to,
Yeah.
you have to be in the
It-
moment and then you have to do it. It's not like
yeah.
I want to three, pow. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
because if when you apply
Like,
I apply the ballet technique to it or the ballet way of getting into a movement, I always fail. I have to just let it
hmm,
come naturally. Then
interesting. Hmm. I see. Yeah, I feel like it's in yoga you kind of play with your own energy, like it goes out and then you bring it in and up and down and all these things. In particular dance styles, you kind of either push it out or you give it down or something like that. I mean, dance also plays with it, with the space and the movement and the time and all the dynamic is there. But for me, that yoga is more structured in that sense. Maybe more than contemporary, but if I had done a traditional dance style, I think I would have experienced that same structure and the same flow of energy contained.
and I am 100% with you on that. And every person that I have ever taught will tell you
Yeah,
that is true. I always say you must first learn the
the
the foundation of dance,
tradition. Yeah,
which is the
mm,
frame, which is the structure. Because only when you have
yeah,
structure and discipline can you be free. It's like language.
yeah,
You cannot write a
yeah,
poem if you don't even know how if you don't know the
yeah,
vocabulary, you don't know grammar, you don't know how to construct a sentence. How can you
yeah.
be creative? You know?
And it's like at that point it becomes so abstract at some point. Like some of the works that I have seen or been in have been so abstract that even my mind will get confused and stop for a moment and say, "What am I doing here?" Okay,
But
wait.
it's, yeah,
I'll try to make sense of it. It's so confusing. But yeah, so I definitely understand that you need a framework first, and then you can go crazy in it. Like you can
because
explore
again,
it.
always think about language.
Yeah, yeah,
Dance is a
yeah,
language, so it has to be understood, or at least it
yeah.
must be able to be interpreted. If it's just,
Yeah, you must
if
communicate with
I'm
it.
just there talking, like I don't know, Bidenese, Bidenese. I don't know if you've heard Joe Biden talk.
No.
He's abstract because when he talks, I don't know what he's saying. It's like I'm watching contemporary dance, the very abstract kind. It's just words coming
Yeah,
out, sounds, but doesn't make sense. It's
really
just,
makes sense.
and then
Yeah,
you're like confused. You're trying to keep track, but you're not sure. So that is abstract.
yeah,
When when dance becomes
yeah,
abstract, it doesn't. It has to make sense because dance is a language, and people have to understand it. If they might misinterpret it, that's fine, but it has to be
yeah.
understood.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. And the last thing I wanted to come to, the last part, where how did your travel, or can you tell us about your traveling bit a little bit? Like, how did you started traveling and why you have a home on wheels instead instead
Okay,
of a
just like
normal people's, something like that? And how did it affect your creativeness and your dance, basically your art.
So how it started, it's my husband's idea. It has always been his dream to travel the world.
Yeah.
Uh, when the time came, he said, pack your bags, we're leaving. And we left. And we've never, I mean, we go back, but just to apply for
Yeah.
visas or get new bank cards, but not to stay. So
Yeah.
that's how it started. I would say I'm quite a good wife because I follow my husband. I gave up my career and everything to follow him on this trip. So that is how it has affected my dance. Because of this trip,
Oh.
I cannot work. I tried online. It's very difficult. I do now, and occasionally I conduct classes wherever I am. But people these days don't want to pay. They don't want to pay for classes. So it's a bit of a problem. Even now here in Pokhara, I'm trying to teach some classes. It's a bit difficult. So yeah, that's how it affected my dance. It's just that, because I don't dance anymore, but I teach, and I can't teach anymore. I've not taught. I think the last time I taught was 2019.
I see.
Mm.
And that is also maybe because of the changed scene about dance everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Like people are getting classes in every lane, every alley. There'll be like 5, 6
They can
dance
just learn
classes.
online. They learn on
Yeah.
YouTube. They learn eight counts, and then they feel they can dance. So the kind of dancing I
Yeah.
teach, we don't want to do it because it takes years.
Yeah. So I think that changed perspective about dance itself is affecting in this sense.
Mhm.
And I mean, there's no solution for it or something like that. But that's just how
It's
I
just
think
times
we are
have
changing
changed.
as a community as well.
Yeah, times have
Yeah.
changed. Now that's why I even told my people used to teach for me. I told them, now you just have to
Mhm.
do TikTok choreography. Just choreograph
Yeah,
2 8.
like 30 seconds, 7
Yeah,
seconds.
two. We will, because we go in counts. Maximum 4/8. That's it. You don't
Yeah,
need to have a
that's it.
theater. You don't have to do a whole production. Nothing. You just
Yeah,
do 4/8 and make sure the person who's doing it looks good.
yeah,
They can move well. They're wearing nice outfit. The music is popping. That's it.
yeah.
You sold. Don't
Mm.
even care whether they are doing the correct technique. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
And it has to be a trending song. That's all.
Yes. Yeah. The song has to. Yeah. That's why I said catchy song or popping, whatever's popping. Just stay relevant, stay current. Yeah.
I feel like my dance teacher would have definitely agreed with you. We had the same conversation in lockdown when most of the reels were like coming up. It was like a trending era, I think. That time also we had the same conversation, and he was telling that you guys have to increase your stamina. Just because now you're dancing on Instagram doesn't mean that, because that's the stamina of people. Even for audience, uh, they have enough attention span of like a 7 second or a 30-second
Yes.
span. And
Yes.
as the audience also, people are changing. So if you put out an hour long work, no one
They're
will
not
show
gonna,
up.
yeah. You lose them.
And
Yeah. You can only give,
it's very hard. It's
yeah.
very hard like that.
Yeah. 30
Maybe
seconds.
the dancers will be excited to dance
Mhm.
for an hour,
But
but
the
the audience,
yeah,
no.
no. And even if they do stay, they won't appreciate it
Yeah.
because they won't understand why you need to do a whole production. Even one
Yeah. Yeah.
song, even to do one song, they cannot. You must only do the
Yeah.
chorus or the verse or the music break. You cannot do the entire
Mm.
song anymore. Yeah, yeah. But it's times have changed. I mean, you have to change with the times.
Hmm. Yes, I think those are all the questions or points that I had. But I would like to continue with you sometime again.
Next,
And I just
yeah,
want to say that thank you so much. Thank you so much.
yeah. And
And
thank you
I'm
for having me.
no, it's my pleasure, really. And I wanted to do this for a long time. I'm glad that we connected again after Dharamshala, and we got the space to talk like this. And with our internet issues, also we are able to
Yeah, yeah.
So this is how wonderfully the talk with Celeste went. For more videos, please subscribe to our channel, hit the like button and the bell icon to keep yourself updated about new videos. Thank you.